What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another stream here over at the League FFB. Today, we're going to be doing another best ball draft for you guys live on stream. We're going to be drafting over on Underdog Fantasy per usual. So we've been talking Underdog Fantasy and hopefully we might have a promo code for you guys here in the next couple weeks. So something we're working on, but no promises, of course. But with that being said, we are going to be hopping into the Little Eliminator again. So if you're not familiar with what the Little Eliminator is, it is essentially a fantasy football draft where let me add this to the stream here. It is a fantasy football draft where you basically have the bottom two teams of your said league eliminated out of the tournament every single week. So there's 93,000 entrants. We're going to be doing the 30 seconds per pick draft today, but essentially it's don't be the lowest scorer and you're going to move on to the next week. And if you get to, I think it's week 9. If you get to week 9, you see it here. It says payments begin. So we got to make it to week 9 and then we'll start getting paid. But first place prize is $100,000. So that's what we're going to be playing for in this one, but we're going to hop right into it. $6 to enter. 100,000 to first place. So if you guys are tapped into the stream, I want to see you guys in the comment section tonight. We are answering anything, any questions you have for me. We'll grade teams. If you guys been doing some drafts, I'll grade your teams, give you my opinions on those. We can talk NFL, we can talk real life, we can talk YouTube advice, really anything you guys have for us. I'm happy to talk about it and chat with you guys moving forward tonight. So you see, with these underdog drafts, we do not get to know our draft position until we start the draft. And with this draft, we got the number 5 pick. So that is actually going to work out pretty well for what I wanted to do for my strategy going into this draft today. I wanted to do a little bit of a hero RB approach. So what the hero RB strategy is that you draft one of these really top high-end elite running backs early on. Some call it anchor RB, but what we essentially do is anchor our team to this running back. And then our running back 2 position, we kind of punt that down the line, make it a committee of guys that we hope can get plugged in there any given week. So we are going to do an anchor RB strategy in this one, which means that there's two guys that we're going to end up picking. It's going to be Christian McCaffrey or Austin Eckler. So wherever that lands, we'll decide. But we're going to do anchor RB. And I also want to get an elite QB. So we're probably going to have to do that in this draft, which means we're going to punt the tight end position. If you're new to the channel, it's something we've done here quite often this year. We've been punting that tight end position and getting 3 guys at the very end of the draft. That's what we're going to be doing today. So, yeah, man, that's really the goal of today's draft. So you see coming off the board first in these top 4 picks, it usually is, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, Christian McCaffrey. It's those guys. You see CMC off the board, so we will go Austin Eckler, and he will be our anchor RB. So that's how we're going to start off the draft. If you guys are tapping into the replay, go ahead and make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. We have a goal of 500 subscribers before week 1. It's a little bit of a lofty goal at this point, but it's something I still think that we can get, something I still think that is achievable. So make sure, if you like this content, if you like NFL football, talking football, really anything NFL or fantasy football related, to consider subscribing to this channel, because we talk all things NFL and fantasy football. So go ahead and do that. And if you guys don't, want to subscribe, consider giving us a like on this video if you do like the content. That helps us as well. It's the best free way to support the channel. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys taking some time today to watch this mock draft and talk some fantasy football with me. So thank you guys for that. And so one thing that I do want to know is that I actually enjoy drafting up here in these top 5, 6 picks more this year. In previous years, I do like getting closer towards the back half of that draft, but this year, I just like the way my teams look when I'm drafting in these top 5, top 6 picks anyways. And I see we got Caleb here in the chat. Caleb, man, says another day, another draft. Andrew puts out the best content on YouTube. Keep doing your thinking. Hey, appreciate you, Caleb. And if you guys aren't familiar with Caleb as well, he is on this YouTube journey with us as well, fantasy football journey. And he's putting content over on his channel. So if you haven't checked out his channel, go over there too, because he works hard, man. There's a lot of people in this industry. I don't know a lot of them closely. I feel like I've gotten to know Caleb pretty well over the last little while, and just works hard, man. So it's tough to beat those guys that really dedicate themselves to this. So go check out Caleb if you haven't checked out his channel, and consider subscribing to both of us. Help us get that road to 500, because that's what we're on right now. So with that being said, let's kind of recap the draft since we drafted Austin Eckler, because like I said, we wanted to do an elite QB and a hero RB kind of build today. So we did have Cooper Kupp, Travis Kelce, Bijan Robinson, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb, Devontae Adams, Tony Pollard, and Patrick Mahomes off the board. So it's coming up to our pick, and this is going to be quite easy for me. I've been drafting him a lot. Actually, because I've been drafting him a lot this year, we're not going to draft him. But there was 2 guys that I was looking at, Chris Olave and Jalen Waddle. I was going to go Jalen Waddle. I've been drafting a ton of him. Because of that, we're going to draft Chris Olave in this draft. So we're going to start off our team with Austin Eckler, Chris Olave, and I'm feeling good about it, man. So, yeah, man. I think for me, the reason why I went Chris Olave there, and I'll kind of walk you through all those options, because I was looking Devontae Smith, Chris Olave, Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle, in these best ball type formats, you're looking for guys that can essentially win you a week. I mean, you obviously want to draft best player available, but you're shooting for upside. And I feel like there's very few guys in the NFL that have the yak ability, have the just have that ability to go and put up 40, 50 points on any given week in a PPR league. And Jalen Waddle is one of those guys. So he's a big play threat. And I think where we're getting him this year, I really don't think he's overpriced at all. I feel like he's either accurately priced, or some could even say that he's a little bit underpriced. But I do like him, and I do like Chris Olave. I think Chris Olave is going to take a step forward again this year with Derek Carr, that quarterback upgrade there. He's not a big yak guy, but he's going to be a reception monster. Going to see a lot of receiving yards, plays deep down the field. It's going to be a good season for Chris Olave as well. And then Devontae Smith. He's just one of them dudes, man. I just like Devontae Smith. He gets open. The only issue is that obviously he has A.J. Brown, but one could consider Devontae Smith the 1B or the 1A, depending on who you ask. I know some guys who think Devontae Smith is the 1A on that team, but because Chris Olave doesn't have anybody opposite him, that's why we go Chris Olave there at the 102. And I see Shane in the chat. He says, I'm here, relax. I appreciate you taking some time to stop by, Shane. We did have Jonathan Taylor come off the board at the 210. And then Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Devontae Smith, Calvin Ridley come off the board. So we are approaching our pick here. Jahmyr Gibbs off the board right there. And like I said, we are doing a different kind of build today where we're doing a anchor RB elite QB. But we did get Austin Eckler. So I'm going to go T. Higgins here. And we are going to have Austin Eckler, Chris Olave, T. Higgins to start off this team. Now, I do want to get one of these elite quarterbacks. So with the quarterbacks that I'm looking at Lamar, Justin, Joe, Herbert, T-Law. That's where I'm looking. I want one of those guys. Specifically, I want Justin Herbert. I would like to have Justin Herbert to stack here with Austin Eckler. So as we get to that 51.7 ADP, which for us is going to be probably right here at this 53 pick, that is probably where we're going to try and grab Justin Herbert. If Justin Herbert is gone, we'll grab T-Law there in 53. So we'll probably grab one more wide receiver right here at 44, and then that's the plan for us. I see Shane says giveaway at 500 subscribers. Yeah, we could potentially do a giveaway. I've already been kind of considering a couple giveaway options, nothing for certain, but there will be updates coming soon on whether or not we are doing a giveaway. Actually, here's the thing. We are doing a giveaway. It's just a matter of when. So, and what I'm giving away. And you see Paris Campbell autograph jersey. Yeah, unfortunately, that was the mystery box, I guess, last time. So we will not be doing a mystery box, but what we are considering giving away, and if you're not a member of our Discord, we do have a free Discord. It's going to be linked in the description. We are voting on whether we are going to be giving away a copy of Madden 24 or whether we're going to be giving away a signed memorabilia piece. So probably something like an NFL helmet or a football signed by a stud. I was looking at one last night, T. Higgins signed football. So maybe we could do something like that. But if you guys do want to be entered into any of the giveaways that we do on this channel, you do got to be a member of the Discord. So go join that Discord. That's where we give away the stuff. So it is free to join, like I said. And I see we got 5 people here in the stream right now. If you are just tapping in, go ahead and consider giving a like on the stream if you do like the content. I do appreciate each and every one of you taking some time out of your day to watch this channel. It means a lot to me. And we're just drafting and talking fantasy football here. So we're about to be on the clock. I did say that we were going to go another wide receiver. And we do have Chris Olave, T. Higgins. I think what we're going to end up doing here, I don't want Judy because of him missing several weeks, obviously. Drake London, he has a similar bye week to Olave. And then McLaurin, he's going to miss some time too. So we're going to go Brandon Ayuk as our next wide receiver. Some may say I'm overthinking the bye week. Some may say I'm overthinking the injuries. This is the Eliminator, man. Like I said, those lowest scoring teams get eliminated every week. So we can't afford to have guys miss time. I need to have my best lineup out there every single week. And Brett says, I already won Paris. Yeah, you did, man. And so Shane says, I wish I could give away my copy of Madden 24. Yeah, dude, I got Madden 24 too. I pre-ordered. I got the deluxe edition. Big mistake right there. Do not pre-order the deluxe edition. I will not be doing that next year. I'm just going to get the standard edition if I get Madden at all. Hopefully they change it. I say that every year. They never do. But I feel like I just downloaded the same game just with a different album cover or a game cover, whatever you call it. But it's frustrating. Let me know what your guys' opinions are on Madden 24 and the status of that game or the state of that game in the comments as well. Brett says I can add in my Paris jersey to whatever you choose to give away. Yeah. Shane says how much time is Terry supposed to miss? I don't know. You know, they say it's the turf toe, that it's sprained or whatever. They're saying maybe 1 or 2 weeks. He could miss 1 or 2 weeks at the beginning of the season. Or if he comes in, you know, he could be a little bit limited. It's tough to say. But I think him and I are close enough in my personal rankings that it doesn't really matter to me. But we're here at 53. Unfortunately, Justin Herbert came off the board, so we're not going to get Justin Herbert. But Joe Burrow's still there. So as long as Deacon doesn't take him, we will take Joe Burrow and stack him with T. Higgins because we are going for this elite quarterback. We do want an elite quarterback on this build. And gosh dang, man, Joe Burrow off the board. We're going to go Trevor Lawrence. That's the last of the elite QBs. And so we have T-Law, Austin Eckler, Chris Olave, T. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk. And Shane says stacking Burrow with T is just as good. Yeah, and then we just got freaking sniped, man. We got Justin Herbert off the board and Joe Burrow off the board back to back right before us. Tough, man. Tough things to see. But we are punting that RB2 position. We are punting the tight end position. If you guys are new to the channel, like I said, that is something we've been doing pretty often this year. I do like the hero RB build or anchor RB, whatever you want to call it. I do like that build. I do like punting the tight end position if we're not getting one of the top three. Obviously, in this draft, you know, one of the three is still available because I view TJ Hawkinson as one of those guys, but we'll see what happens there. Right? TJ Hawkinson's, yeah, there he goes. There he's off the board. I was tripping because we saw Waller and Kittle come off the board. Brett says, come back and take Kirk if you're there. For sure. Shane says, that's okay. Grab Zay Jones. And then Brett says, Ingram. Yeah, there's options, right? There's options. I mean, you can still stack with like a Tank Bigsby. I know it's not necessarily like a receiver stack, but you still get that kind of a stack over there. But it's been a while since we kind of recapped what's been happening in this draft. So let's kind of talk about some of the stuff that's been happening on the board. I think the last one we talked about was our T. Higgins pick. So after T, we had Lamar Jackson, DK, Debo, Josh Jacobs, Amari Cooper, Travis Etienne, Keenan Allen. Really like that tier of wide receivers there. I like that Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore tier. Feels like you could find a value down there. One of those guys is going to outperform that ADP pretty heavily. I almost guarantee it this year. And then Ramondre Stevenson, Christian Watson, Joe Mixon, DJ Moore, Justin Fields, Mike Williams. Like the Joe Mixon pick there. I think there's a value down there. Hopkins, Ayuk, Najee, Drake London, Breece Hall, Alexander Madison. And the fact that Breece Hall is being drafted in the same breath as Alexander Madison and Dameon Pierce is ridiculous. We've faded Breece Hall too far at this point in fantasy football. We need to correct the ADP again. Dameon Pierce, Aaron Jones, and then obviously it was the Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, where we got sniped. We took Trevor Lawrence. And then there was a tight end run with Darren Waller, Kittle, Hawkinson, obviously Walker, Deontay, Chris Godwin, Javonte, Pickens, J.K. Dobbins, Christian Kirk, Cam Akers, all in there as well. And so unfortunately, Brett, we do not get our Christian Kirk pick. He did get taken there. Jahan Dotson taken there. But we are slowly approaching our pick here. And lots of wide receivers on the board. And lots of wide receivers that I like, man. Definitely don't mind. You see Judy and McLaurin still sitting here on the board. Not really guys that I want to take right now. Maybe McLaurin I would consider taking, depending on how much time he's going to miss. It says he's going to miss week 1, though. I don't know, man. I feel like a guy that's just as good as him. Oh, it's Tyler Lockett. He just got drafted. But we could consider taking Terry McLaurin here. I think the value is good enough on Terry. We'll draft him and reap the benefits of that. Hopefully he does only miss that 1 week. And another guy that I'll look at trying to get on the turnaround is we'll try and get a Mike Evans potentially if he falls to us there. So that's something we'll look at. You see Miles Sanders off the board. He's a guy that I've been touting this year as a good value at that draft pick. And I see we got a good amount of people in here. If you guys have any questions about your fantasy football leagues, any questions that you have coming up on your drafts, go ahead and throw them in the chat. I'm happy to answer anything that you got for me. If you just want to talk NFL, you want to talk real life, you want to talk YouTube advice, maybe you're trying to make it in YouTube, or you're trying to do content creation, ask me advice. I'm more than happy to help it. I have lots of years of experience in content creation, and just recently started this YouTube thing, so at least the fantasy football YouTube thing, so I'm happy to share some of that as well. And if you guys could consider subscribing to the channel, we are trying to reach 500 subscribers by week 1, and that is kind of a goal that we're working on. So you see Jerry Jeudy and Mike Evans off the board, Jackson Smith and Jigba off the board. Shane says, looking at Kyle Pitts around here. No siree, not looking at Kyle Pitts around here. We're punting that tight end position, man. I am very, very firm on, if we're not getting one of those top 3, I just do not give a damn at all about the tight end position. Could care less. It doesn't matter if Kyle Pitts is on the board here. I'm not looking at him. It's just kind of how I've been operating this year. And because we went elite quarterback, I'm not wasting another pick up there on a tight end. So we'll punt that. David Montgomery off the board, Zay Flowers off the board, James Cook off the board. And now we are about to be back up. And I do like a Hollywood Brown here. I do like a Jordan Addison here. Definitely don't mind those picks. Shane says he's got the upside for top 3. I still think I don't think he can finish top 3 this year. It's just not. I just don't see it. I don't think Desmond Ritter's good enough. Alvin Kamara off the board. So for us, we are going to go Jordan Addison here, and he's going to be our wide receiver 5. So we're only going to add about 2 more wide receivers, maybe 3 more wide receivers to this team, period. But we are going to have to kind of attack that running back 2 position. And if we get, you see 96.5 for Evan Engram. The only reason I would consider Engram is because of that stack. So if Engram's on the board at 101, I'll promise you this, Shane. I know you like it when I draft tight ends earlier, because you hate when I punt that tight end position. If Engram is on the board at 101, if he's on the board, I'll draft him there. And I know Brett said that earlier. He said Engram with the hard eye. So if he's there, I will draft him there. Shane says eyeballing Cortland Sutton. Yeah, it's tough, man. I was talking about this on the draft yesterday. I feel like Cortland Sutton just gets me back in every year for whatever reason, because this year I was not in on Cortland Sutton, and now all of a sudden that Tim Patrick is out, Jerry Jeudy's going to miss time, and it's really just Cortland Sutton there with obviously Marvin Mims. It's like, God damn, he's a value again. And is he going to let me down? Probably. I mean, that's just what Cortland Sutton keeps doing to me. He keeps letting me down, and I'm probably going to draft him again. It's just the way that it's going to be. You'd think that I'd change the process, but it's tough. Brett says Addison, fire emoji. Yeah, man, he looks freaking nasty. I mean, he looks good. I'm excited to see what he can do opposite Justin Jefferson this year. And James Conner went after our Jordan Addison pick. Dallas Goedert, Cortland Sutton there, as Shane was talking about, Hollywood Brown, Kyle Pitts, Deshaun Watson, Isaiah Pacheco. Brett says, is Mims really going to be that much of a factor? Hell yeah. I mean, he's going to have to be. They didn't draft him as highly as they did. Sean Payton doesn't speak about him as highly as he does if they don't think he's going to be a factor. A lot of people slept on Marvin Mims coming into this draft, and it's just because he had a little bit of a down year at Oklahoma. But if we would have drafted this class a year earlier and we didn't factor in that final season, we would have been talking about Marvin Mims as a top 5 receiver in the class. And it would have been very easily, we would have been talking about him as a top 5 receiver in this class. So I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see how he develops, because the opportunity that he has in front of him is wide open. He's going to have the chance to go out week 1 and get 5, 7 targets, 8 targets, maybe even week 1, depending on what happens. But he's going to be a guy that he's going to have the ability to prove it right away. And he has the talent to do it. So after Isaiah Pacheco, we had Tua Tagovailoa, Brandon Cooks, Anthony Richardson. Brett says, think he's considered like a dart throw late in drafts. Yeah, definitely a dart throw late in drafts. I think he's the best value you can get on that Denver Broncos team right now. And did you guys see what Tua Tagovailoa said the other day? Because Ryan Clark over there on ESPN, Ryan Clark's been, I don't know what he's been doing this offseason. He's been talking a lot of crazy stuff. He was saying George Pickens is a more talented Justin Jefferson. And then he was over there on ESPN First Take or whatever it is, calling Tua Tagovailoa fat. So it's interesting to see Ryan Clark's takes this offseason. But Shane said it. He said, "Keep my name out your mouth." Yeah, that's what he was saying. Is you need to keep his name out your mouth because apparently we're gonna go Elijah Moore here. I like Elijah Moore. Apparently Tua says those. He says, I'm from a Samoan family. It's about respect. He's like, we take a lot. I feel like we're pretty hard headed, or we can take a lot. But he said at the end of the day, we could get scrappy too. So keep my name out your mouth. So I thought that was pretty funny coming out of Tua's mouth, because nobody really thinks of Tua Tagovailoa as a tough guy, but he kind of got scrappy. So I like it. I like seeing it out of Tua. I think Tua can take a step forward this year, and I think he can prove a lot of the doubters wrong this year. So rooting for Tua this year. Shane says Shannon and Stephen A. Smith. That'll be interesting. Brett says Ryan Clark saying all of that for views. Yeah, man. And that's what I hate about ESPN these days, and a lot of the analysts that they have up there. Kendrick Perkins, one of the key guys that does this. Ryan Clark does it. Stephen A. does it. Skip Bayless does it. Like all these guys just say shit for reactions and to get those views and to get clickbaity. It's annoying, man. I think that's the most frustrating thing about ESPN these days is there's not a lot of like really, really good analysts that aren't just trying to bait you. And it's tough, man. I don't know. It's tough. I wish we could get some better commentators and some better analysts up there on ESPN, because I feel like when I was growing up, we used to stay up to watch ESPN and we used to want to watch SportsCenter and we used to try and see all of that stuff. But now like I don't turn that shit on at all. But after Anthony Richardson, we did have Sky Moore, Rashad White, Dalvin Cook. I do like Rashad White down here. I think he's a hell of a value. We took Elijah Moore. Then it was Michael Thomas, Quentin Johnston, Antonio Gibson, DeAndre Swift, Treylon Burks, Romeo Dobbs. And I promised you guys, I said that if 101 Evan Engram was available, I'd draft him, Khalil Herbert off the board. So as long as Evan Engram doesn't go here, I'll draft him. We'll get our stack. Ooh, they took a tight end, but it wasn't our guy. So we'll get Evan Engram. But Shane says Ryan Hollins was the worst. Yeah, dude, he was awful. So let's go back to this draft board, man. We kind of got to start taking some RB2s here because we don't have any other RBs other than Austin Eckler on this team. And that could get scary. So let's see what happens. We probably got to attack that well. And because we have Justin Herbert, not Justin Herbert. I wish we had Justin Herbert. Because we have Trevor Lawrence, we probably have to get a quarterback a little bit later too. So we got to figure a way to get this out. We don't want to get eliminated in this early on. We want to make it to week 9 where we can start getting paid. But Daniel Jones off the board, A.J. Dillon off the board, Zach Charbonnet, and Rashad Bateman. So let's kind of recap where we're at with this team so far. Let me know your guys' opinions on our roster at this point. Is there a player on here that you thought was a good value pick? Is there a player on here that you don't like? But what we have is we're drafting from this 5 spot. 105, we took Austin Eckler. 208, Chris Olave. 305, T. Higgins. 408, Brandon Ayuk. 505, Trevor Lawrence. 608, Terry McLaurin. 705, Jordan Addison. Elijah Moore 808, and then Evan Engram 905. So we have a pretty solid roster in my opinion. When we look at it over here, obviously very deep at the wide receiver position, probably need to stop drafting that position and get to the running backs. But that's probably what we'll end up doing. I mean, there's still lots of guys down here, the Jalen Warrens, Jamal Williams, the Elijah Mitchells, the Tyler Algiers, like these guys that have high upside as handcuffs, backups, like if there's an injury there or anything like that, that would make them more valuable. That's kind of what we want to target in these hero RB builds. And Shane says, speak of bang. That is so disrespectful, dude. That is so disrespectful. Brian Robinson would be a good pick. Yeah, he would, but he already got picked. But when we do come up with our pick, some guys that I would be looking at would be a Tank Bigsby, a Jalen Warren, Jamal Williams, kind of just those guys that I said right there. And you see these guys are coming off the board quick, so hopefully we don't start getting sniped on some of these. But I like these. Jamal Williams would be my number one pick right here, though, because he could for 3 weeks be the RB1 in this roster or on that roster. So we do want to get Jamal Williams there. You see Geno Smith off the board. He's a good value in fantasy drafts this year. But we are really hoping for that Jamal Williams pick. I got my eyes set on that. So as long as we don't get sniped in these next two, we should be fine. Kirk Cousins off the board. And then Dalton Kincaid. So we are going to take Jamal Williams. Shane says Zeke draftable now. Here's the thing, man. Zeke was always draftable. And I know I've talked about Zeke negatively in dynasty leagues, but in these best ball drafts, Zeke is actually one of my highest rostered. I have the highest exposure to Zeke over like almost any running back in football this year. And I can show you guys the exposures. You know, I'm not bullshitting you, but at the end of the day, like Zeke was virtually going undrafted in these drafts. And it was nonsense, because if you thought that Ezekiel Elliott was going to go into the season week 1 and not be on a roster, you were not thinking straight. Zeke was a value, and now he's not a value. He's not a value now. Everybody wants to now draft Zeke. You guys messed up. You should have drafted him when you could have got him in the 17th and 18th rounds. Now you have to draft him in this round 11, round 12. That's kind of where you have to start looking at Zeke, because the value has shot up. You should have been drafting him way earlier, because that was the biggest chance you were going to get at a value adjustment for Ezekiel Elliott. So, yeah, a lot of people missed out on some value with Zeke. Brett says, I feel like Geno going to be nice as hell this year with the weapons he has. Yeah, I mean, he should be. He was decent last year. But also the problem is that, you know, you say the weapons he's going to have this year, he's going to get off to a slow start now, though, because Jackson Smith and Jigba, and I'm not saying Geno's going to get off to a slow start. I guess that's not what I mean, but Jackson Smith and Jigba had wrist surgery, so he's probably not going to be ready week 1. And even if he is, he's not going to be 100%. So, you know, he's not going to have that new weapon right away. Shane says he is confirmed top 10, could be top 5. I agree with this. I currently have him QB 12 in my ranks, but I understand that if Jackson is healthy, and if Jackson's who I think he is, which he's my wide receiver 1 in the class, if Jackson's that dude like I think he is, QB 12 could be too low. And like I said, he's QB 12 in my rankings. Dang, Marvin Mims goes right there. Tank Bigsby goes. So now we're looking at a pick, and I feel like maybe a Samaje Perine isn't too bad here. We'll take Perine. Could potentially get some work. It's not sexy, but like I said, we got to take a bunch of these guys here late and try and build an RBBC with that RB2 slot. I will say I have not drafted a ton of Marvin Mims this year. I mean Samaje Perine. I have not drafted a ton of Samaje Perine. In fact, I don't know if that might be the first Samaje Perine I've drafted this year. I've drafted a lot of drafts. Shane says, take Russ next round. Nah. I don't want to, just because we need to keep drafting that running back position. We have Trevor Lawrence. We're gonna trust that Trevor Lawrence takes that step forward and he enters that elite category with Calvin Ridley. But honestly, where my thoughts are with this roster, we're gonna punt that QB2 to like we're gonna punt it to like Sam Howell. That's where we're punting it. Shane says Kirk, Geno, Rodgers, Goff, Russ. Good spot for a second QB. Yeah, it's not a bad spot. A couple guys in there. I'm not as big on Goff as some guys are this year, and not as big on Russ either. I think currently I have Russ as my Russell Wilson is my QB 18 in drafts this year, so I'm good, man. I don't want a lot of Russ. I'd take Derek Carr over Russ. I'd take Daniel Jones over Russ. I'd take a lot of guys over Russ. In fact, I think I would take Kenny Pickett over Russell Wilson too. I'm a big Kenny Pickett guy this year. I think he's going to take a step forward. He looks pretty good. Brett says take Russ' name out of there. Such a Seattle bias. Russ QB 33 and there's 32 teams. Dude, if you looked at, I mean, look, I don't think Russ is going to be as bad as he was last year. I don't. I think he does take a step forward, but you can't ignore the fact that like he's lost two weapons in the matter of like a month. So, if he was going to take that or get that bounce back year, it's tough to do that when you're losing weapons. Your wide receiver 1, your wide receiver 3. It's tough to do that. So I'd rather not draft him. I like Derek Carr more. I like Kenny Pickett more. Hell, I'll take Brock Purdy or Kyler Murray to shoot some upside down here. And then Sam Howell, of course. But we are going to be coming back up on our pick here, and we need to just keep hitting that running back well. And I think what we'll do is I think I'm going to try and go like I kind of want to go Zeke. I kind of want to go Damian Harris. What do you guys think? Should I do Russ or Damian Harris, or should I do Ezekiel Elliott? Brett says Kyler not playing this year. I don't think. I think he does. I think he plays games this year. It may not be a lot, but I think he plays games. What do you guys think, Zeke or Damian Harris? Anthony says Damian. All right, we'll take Damian. Shane says Harris. Yeah. Harris, Zeke, Roshan, all good here. I agree. We'll take Damian, and then we'll do what Shane says. We'll try and get a Zeke or a Roshan on the way back. I like a Devin Singletary too, but he's a little bit later down this board. I mean, we have pick 164. 164, we can look at a Devin Singletary. Anthony, nice to see you in the chat, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Loyal subscriber to this channel and love talking football with you, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully you guys don't hear that sizzling in the background. My wife's making dinner, so hopefully you can't hear that. Dalton Schultz off the board after Damian Harris. Devin or Cole Kmet, Jordan Love, Michael Gallup. You take both Damian Harris and Singletary? Yeah, because Singletary is on the Texans. Damian Harris is on the Bills. Anthony says, no worries, love the content. Appreciate it, man. Seriously. I think Shane had a moment of confusion. Unless there's another point he's trying to make, but I feel like he still thinks that Devin Singletary is on the Bills. He says, yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah. So that's why I would do that. But I think we might get Zeke. Carr off the board. Let's get Zeke. Hyatt, and we're going to get Zeke. So all of a sudden, our running back room, even though we punted it so late, our second running back off the board was pick 116. We've got Jamal Williams, Samaje Perine, Damian Harris, Ezekiel Elliott, and then hopefully with our next pick, it'll be Devin Singletary, hopefully. So it's starting to get interesting. Obviously, we need to go back and get another tight end. We also need another quarterback. So probably we'll take Singletary if he's there at 164. If Singletary isn't there at 164, we'll probably take our backup quarterback. Hopefully it's Pickett. If Pickett's not there, I mean, we might look at the tight end, but the tight ends are going to start getting slim. They're going to start getting really slim. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. In fact, let's go look at the tight ends because there's a Gerald Everett, a Chickasee Okonkwo, a Dulcich, Irv Smith. I mean, they get slim quick, right? Like we might end up even taking 3 tight ends, maybe one late. It's just going to depend, man. And let's look at the quarterbacks because I like Pickett. I like we can't take Purdy though because same bye week. Maybe a Stafford, maybe a Howell. It's kind of what we're looking like there. Obviously can't take Pickett, unfortunately. So yeah, man, it's gonna get slim pickings at these positions, which is fine. We're gonna rely on Trevor Lawrence. We just can't have Trevor Lawrence have a bad week because if Trevor Lawrence has a bad week, and then maybe we have Evan Engram who has a bad week as well, then we could be looking at one of those bottom teams. And if we're one of those bottom teams on the week, we get eliminated. So we got to make sure we keep it rolling. So what I like to do is I get to the end of these drafts. Let me see. We got Trey in here. Trey says, "Evening, brother. Finished my first redraft the other night. Care to rate the squad?" Yeah, man. Throw it in here. Would love to rate your squad. Just drop it in the chat. Let me know what the scoring settings are too, whether you're full PPR or not, and we'll see what happens. Shane said, "You not drafting Young or Stroud?" I don't know, man. I'm not very high on them this year. I mean, I'm lower on Stroud than I am on like a Sam Howell. Bryce Young, it's going to be interesting to see what he does this year, but the weapons aren't good. I think Bryce Young is a hell of a prospect. I think he's probably going to be the best NFL quarterback out of this class. Doesn't mean he's going to be the best for fantasy, but I think he'll be the best NFL quarterback out of this class. It's just, I think more year 2 is when he kind of gets that, second year bump, I guess, maybe more weapons. Trey says full PPR, pick 2 of 12, no super flex or premiums. Okay, so picking from the 2 spot. And you got Lamar Jackson, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Ramondre Stevenson, Javonte Williams, Waddle, Engram, James Cook, Rashad White, Michael Pittman, Sky Moore, Rashad Penny, Elijah Moore. It's a good roster, man. I do like it. You're very talented at the quarterback position, very talented at the wide receiver position. Looks like you waited on running backs just a little bit, but you still got good value on those positions, especially with Rashad White, Ramondre, Javonte. It's a good team, man. You should. I mean, obviously, I don't know what the other teams in your league look like, but you look like you should be top half of that league for sure. So as we approach our pick here, and I apologize, I didn't have the draft board on the board, but Kenny Pickett, Kyler Murray off the board. Trey says, "Thanks, man. Good luck." Hey, I appreciate it, man. If you don't mind, before you head on out, make sure you hit that like button for us, man. It's the best free way to support our channel, so I appreciate you stopping by. So we are slowly approaching ours. Devin Singletary is on the board, though, so we are going to go Devin Singletary, and he is going to be our pick there. So now we're starting to get deeper. We do have 4 picks left. So what I like to do is we get down to this part of the draft. I do like to kind of plan out our next 4 picks. So one of them is going to be a quarterback, one's a tight end, and then it's probably going to be 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, or 1 running back, 1 tight end, depending on what our backup tight end looks like. So it's going to be interesting to see. Stafford off the board. We're probably going to have to go quarterback right now, though, because there's only one guy left that we really like, Sam Howell. And then it also gives us the stack with Terry McLaurin. So that's what we're going to be doing. Trey says, "Believe it or not, I got Waddle in the 5th. Yeah, dude. I mean, I was saying earlier in this draft, we were in the second round, and I was talking about how Jalen Waddle is one of my highest rostered players so far this year. I just think the value on him and just his ability to win you a week is underrated. I think he's one of my highest rostered players this year. So Sam Howell off the board. So now this is where this is going to suck because now we gotta punt this position. Actually, we can't really afford to punt it. We'll punt it one more round, but we will go. I'm going to go Greg Dulcich here. Oh wait, he has the same bye week as Engram. Man, this is tough. I guess we'll go Gus Edwards. So that's one more handcuff, but we're going to be done with the running back position now. We have Jamal Williams, Samaje, Damian Harris, Ezekiel Elliott, Devin Singletary, Gus Edwards. So as we are approaching this end of the draft, we do need a QB still. We do need a tight end still. And we do need a wide receiver. So now we got to get to a point where we're just drafting anybody if they're available. If you're a starting quarterback, I'm going to take you. That's just the way that it's going to be with this team. So as long as they don't conflict and buy. So Trevor's by week 9, so we're good with any of those ones. Tight ends, we're going to come down and we're going to have to draft anything that's not a 9. And we'll get our we might not even draft another wide receiver. It's getting sketchy, boys. Anthony says, Javonte, the dark horse this year, 5+ PPR catches, average under a Sean Payton offense. Fingers crossed, all good signs with camp, preseason action now with Judy and G. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Let's hope the knee holds up. But there's a good value on Javonte right now. If you watch Let's Talk Dynasty, my co-host, MFGD's War, he's very high on Javonte this year. That's one of his guys. It's a my guy for him in 2023. So interesting to see. Brett says, same to you. Thanks for the like. Fingers crossed for that. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with Javonte. So what do you guys think? You think we need to add a 7th wide receiver? You think it would be more important to add a 2nd tight end or a 2nd QB? Probably a 2nd tight end, right? Because when we look at the wide receivers available still, there's not a lot of guys that are really like, how likely is it that these guys crack your lineup? Probably not that likely, right? It's more likely that you get a Zach Ertz or Hayden Hurst that cracks your lineup at the tight end position. So I think I just made the executive decision. Still, let me know what you guys think in the comments, but I think we might just double up on the tight end because we'll see how I feel about Ingram. I'm indifferent on Ingram this year, but I think we're really strong at the wide receiver position. Shane says tight end is probably most important, especially since yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, I mean, are these guys game-breaking QBs? Not at all. But you would assume Trevor Lawrence would fall into our starting spot most weeks. Brett says I say tight end. I agree. Says stack Hurst and Bryce Young. That's not bad. And then Anthony says hard to see on mobile. Is Musgrave available? No, man. He I apologize. This is the draft board, but I think we had Musgrave go, yeah, right here, pick 166 or 161. It was in the 14th round. Musgrave went. So apologize, I didn't have that draft board up. I'm sure it's easier to see when it's up like that. But we are approaching our pick here. I definitely feel like we're good to be done drafting that running back position now. We attacked it pretty heavy in those mid to late rounds. I think it was we went 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we went 6 rounds straight just attacking the running back position. So we're pretty good there. And then obviously holding it down is Austin Eckler. Now, if Austin Eckler gets hurt, we're screwed. But that's kind of the way you live with that anchor RB strategy. And that's what I wanted to do coming into this draft tonight. So what are your guys' opinions on Justin Ross? Because Justin Ross has been getting drafted a lot in these later rounds. You think he makes the Chiefs team? And if he does make the Chiefs team, do you think that he's going to be a contributor for them this year? It's kind of hard for me to imagine him as a contributor this season, but who knows? I guess crazier stuff has happened, right? So we're approaching our next pick. I think we definitely need to go tight end next, like you guys said. And the one that I like is Hayden Hurst. We will go Hayden Hurst. And we will. Oh, wait. Who is that? Hunter Henry? We'll bring him back up here because we need to get rid of the week 7s. So Conklin gone. And that's the only one gone. So we're good there. Hopefully Bryce Young comes back around. If Bryce Young comes back around, we should be fine there. Maybe Tannehill. If Young is picked, we'll go Tannehill. Brett says, I think he will make the team, but contributor, not so sure about that. I could see the Chiefs having him ball out one game and then disappear for a few games. They're always good about using everyone. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, man. His story, I hope he's successful because his story is so unfortunate, man. That neck injury that kind of just cost him his career because he was supposed to be like a first round talent. Like if there wasn't that risk with his neck, like they were saying he would never play football again, spinal cord injury, and so the fact that he's even on the football field is crazy, man, and good for him. But I'd like to see him succeed. It's just crazy what's happened, man. It looks like so far we might get Bryce, Shane. Looks like we might get Bryce. As long as Deacon doesn't take him. So we're going to draft Brian Tannehill and get those quarterbacks off the board. Man, dude, I need to keep my mouth shut. Brett said sniped. Yeah, dude. Freaking A. Let me go back to this draft board. You know, I really want Trey McBride. He's kind of the guy that I'm looking at as we come back around. So hopefully we can get Trey McBride. But here's the draft board for you. We wanted Bryce Young to stack with Hayden Hurst, but gosh dang, man. I've been getting sniped so much in these drafts. It's I feel like sometimes the people I'm drafting with are watching the stream. Hey, so not sure where we're at right now over on YouTube as far as subscriber counts go. We are trying to hit 450. That's like the next milestone. Obviously, we're trying to hit 500 before week 1, but we are trying to hit 450. So we are at 449 right now. If one of you guys watching could do me the favor, if you enjoy the content, of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're doing more fantasy football content every day. This week, I am making so many videos because I'm going on vacation next week, so I got to double up. But make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Make sure to go join the Discord if you want to be entered into win some of these giveaways. And make sure if you don't want to do either of those, but you just like the video and you want to tap in every once in a while, just like this video. It helps us a lot. It's the best free way to support the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you guys going and doing that for me. Shane says 448 now with the winky face. All right, man, don't do me like that. Brett says, where are you going? I'm coming to your city. We got a redraft draft live in person. So it's in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'll be in Las Vegas drafting against these bozos in the chat. I'm the commish, so I got to be there. But it's all fun. Brett says, Shane, you're an ass. Yeah, Shane, you are. I'm not helping you with your podcast anymore. You can plug it in here too if you want. We did have Kareem Hunt, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jerome Ford off the board after Tannehill, Mecole Hardman, Desmond Ridder, Darius Slayton, Ty Chandler. And now we're getting to this last round here. Waiting for it. Shane says recording first episode today. Let me know how it goes, man. Happy to help you however you need me. Or if you don't need me, more power to you. You think we're going to get McBride? I like McBride. Is Zach Ertz washed? I think Zach Ertz is washed. That's my opinion. Nasima says 450. So appreciate that. We're at 450, guys. So that's good to know. Thank you guys for that. He made it 448. No, we're at 450 now, man. We can't be too upset about it. I appreciate you guys helping us get to that milestone. Big milestone for us, 450. The next one's 500. We're gonna hit 500 before the season starts. That's the goal. So, if you guys want to help us, share the content with your friends. Share the content with your friends. That's the best way to help us. Brett says, "Congrats, Too True. Thank you, man." And as soon as I'm talking about Zach Ertz being washed, Zach Ertz gets drafted. So you guys think he's washed or not? I think he's washed. I'm going to draft Trey McBride right here. Or should I draft Michael Mayer? Michael Mayer or Trey McBride? Or Noah Fant? Nah, I don't want Noah Fant. Do I take Noah Fant? That's a higher scoring offense than both these teams. I probably take Noah Fant. They're going to score more points. Michael Mayer off the board, Brett, so we can't take him. Shane says McBride. So Fant or McBride? Which one, guys? Fant or McBride? Shane says Fant for sure. Yeah, I think that offense is going to score more points. You know, my gut told me McBride. I'm seeing McBride in the chat too. We're going McBride, man. That's what I was saying this whole time. We got to go McBride. I think he's going to get more receptions. Even though, like you said, Anthony, they should be a dumpster fire this season. But we'll see. Brett says Seattle bias coming out. Yeah, you talk anything Seattle around Shane, he wants it to be drafted that way. So let's recap this team for you guys. We were attempting coming in once we saw we had the number 5 pick. I had kind of had it in my mind already that we wanted to do a anchor RB with an elite QB strategy. So that is what we did today. I feel like we did a pretty decent job. You guys tell me what you think on the teams below, or let me know in the comments below. We got Trevor Lawrence and Ryan Tannehill as our quarterbacks. We're gonna obviously have to rely on on Trevor Lawrence as that elite quarterback. We hope he takes a step forward with Calvin Ridley this year, and he's gonna be the guy that we're hoping. We really hope that he plugs into that QB1 slot for us 90% of the weeks. With our anchor RB, we did have Austin Eckler, and then behind him, we got Jamal Williams, Samaje Perine, Damian Harris, Ezekiel Elliott, Devin Singletary, and Gus Edwards. So a lot of depth behind him, a lot of guys with RB2 potential or potential RB1 potential if there was a injury to the guys above them, specifically like a Gus Edwards or an Ezekiel Elliott, maybe Jamal Williams, obviously, while Kamara is suspended. Then at our wide receiver position, we got it early, and then we kind of just forgot about it the rest of the draft. But we have Chris Olave, T. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk, Terry McLaurin, Jordan Addison, Elijah Moore. So I'm not too worried because none of those guys have conflicting bye weeks. And then our tight end position, Evan Engram, Hayden Hurst, Trey McBride. So it's an interesting build, interesting team. Let me know about your guys' thoughts about this team. Shane says Cardinals going to see what they got in the young guys. For sure, I think they will too. Brett says wide receivers fire. Pray Eckler don't get hurt. T-Law upside and Engram. And then Brett says good draft and show, sir. Much love. Hey, I appreciate you. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Let me go full screen for you guys so I can get you out of here. Swap this over. Boom. Boom. But like I said, guys, we've passed 450 subscribers on the stream, so thank you guys for that. Each and every one of you guys who takes time to watch our channel, it really does mean a lot to me. We're just gonna continue growing, man. We're getting close to football season. It's gonna be a grind. It's gonna be worth it. Hopefully, you guys are here along for the ride. And if you want more content like this, again, subscribe to the channel, like this video. It's the best free way to support the channel. And go enter the Discord because we're thinking of our next giveaway, and that Discord is free to join. So that is where you will enter the giveaways, and that is where we will announce the winners. So go make sure you enter the Discord so you know when we do these giveaways. Some big stuff coming soon. Talked about it at the beginning of the show. Hopefully, lots more growth and lots more good things to come. So I don't have anything else for you guys today. I will see you guys on our next video. Anthony, you said it best. Until next time, peace out.